Thank you for staying with us. It's, of course, Monday Motivation. Fola Daniel is in the house, and today we're talking about quite an interesting topic. I love, having him on this kind of topic. So we're talking about decisions having consequences, or decisions have consequences. It's great to have you all. Welcome.
My pleasure to be here again.
How's the Christmas weekend for you?
It went
How
well.
did you spend it?
Okay, so I don't know these days. Maybe I'm becoming a little more introverted. I'm not sure what's happening.
You have to be, look, everything, we all have to be a little bit more introverted than normal.
Okay, so I guess that sometimes, someone put out a joke out there and say, hey, what happened? Christmas used to be fun when we were kids. And somebody replied, well, it wasn't your money.
Very true, very true. When they say uncles don't have money, when I became an uncle, I started understanding. Hey, you have kind of, but hey, come on. Hope you had a wonderful celebration.
Yes, I did.
Thank you. All right, good.
So decisions have consequences. Okay, so what I thought about is some of the things that we do. Sometimes in life, generally, we want to do certain things, and we, just like people say, we want to eat our cakes and still have them, but it's not possible. You can't eat your cake and still have it. If you take a decision, or if you make any decision, you've got to be ready to live with the consequences, either for good or for bad. What you can do is to manage the consequences and make sure that you don't make more wrong decisions that will lead you down the path that you don't like. Take, for example, if I decide to punch you, we were talking about boxing last week.
Last time, yes.
If I decide to punch you, it's my decision, but how you react, I can't choose that. So if you come back with a stronger punch, it's a consequence I have to manage. I either live with it or get ready to fight back. So if I can't beat you, I'm in trouble. I already made a decision that I cannot handle. So what are we looking at when we say decisions have consequences? When you make financial decisions, they're going to have consequences. When you make marital decisions, they're going to have consequences. When you make decision to have sex, you can't change the consequence. You already made that decision. So you're going to have to live with the consequence of having a baby.
Okay, so yeah. But the consequences, they are not always the same in every situation.
They are not always the same, yes.
You mentioned about the punch. Yeah. The consequence could be that that punch, you could have a battered face. The other consequence that you could run away. Those are,
No, if I run away, that's not a consequence.
Okay, no, I mean the other person. I could give you a punch. Okay. And you could decide to punch back, and you could decide not to punch. So
but when you decide to punch back, there's trouble.
Okay, are consequences are they always going to follow a particular pattern?
No, they don't follow. They don't follow a particular pattern, and they also don't come instantly. So the point is, let's take a look at the money issue, for example.
Okay, let's start.
If, just like someone was jokingly saying, if you have spent your January salary, congratulations. So if you don't take the right decisions right now about your finances, you will live with the consequences, whether you like it or not, in January. If you don't plan, we're going into a new year. Some people did not plan at all for 2020. We all know that there was a disruption. So even if you had a plan, there were disruptions against the plan. But some people were still able to adjust. But why were they able to adjust? They had some plans. So when the COVID struck, they adjusted. But if you don't have any plan at all, what do you think would have happened? So the bottom line is, going into the new year, you must have carefully thought out decisions about what you're going to do, either with your finances, with your businesses, with the career path that you are taking. You must carefully take decisions. If you don't decide today to improve yourself, maybe you're in the learning and development space, you're in the broadcast media, whatever it is that you're doing, you must begin to take the right decisions now so that you enjoy results later and not consequences. If I decide not to do anything, that's also a decision in itself. So the point is, there must be a decision, and not just any kind of decision, a decision that will lead you down the path that you really want to see. Okay. So you must plan, take proper actions, and ask yourself, is this where I want to be by this time next year? You can't just wish to be somewhere. It's the decisions that you're taking that will get you to where you want to be. So many people wish to be rich, but they are not taking the decisions that will help them to become rich. Someone wants to become a lawyer and is not going to law school. How would that happen? Or you want to graduate with a first class and you don't study. How is that ever going to happen? So we're saying, don't wish things will happen. You need to take careful decisions to make sure that they happen. And not taking those decisions, you're already making a decision.
How about those that take these decisions? They do what they've seen other people do, and then they don't get those particular results that the other person has got.
Now, the point is, you don't just do things just because you saw someone else doing it. Have you ever been in a class where you have this very playful friend, but he's still the best student in class?
Very true. Which is why...
And everybody is asking, how does it do it?
Which is why a number of people will tell you that, when they come... You've heard people talk about motivation, that, motivational speakers, you guys aspire to perspire. Because they tell you that, look, you're telling somebody to read. The person that even studies the hardest might even be the one that failed the most.
You see, because the point is, a lot of people don't know that sometimes that guy that looks playful, he has his own time. He knows when to study, and he has a style. There are people who know how to assimilate just by listening. So he doesn't need to spend as much time as the others to understand.
Let me just, a very short story about me. In secondary school, I love my friends know this. Till I left secondary school, I never for one day solved maths. I was always amongst the top 3. I never solved maths. I would just sit down in class. Maths came to me, it was just there. And then I would have people that would sit down for days and nights.
And they would still not get it right. So that person has already identified his own strength, his own skill. He knows how to study and pass effortlessly.
So by the way, it made me very lazy also.
So if you're copying that kind of a person, you will just think, oh, I don't need to study hard. I'll just spend 1 hour reading. But this guy has been listening in class, and he has a retentive memory. He remembers almost everything that he hears. So he's going to pass effortlessly.
So it's to find out what works for you.
Find out what works for you.
Kind of scenario.
And work with that thing. And, another thing is, you see someone driving, has a big ride, and, everything seems to be working, living large. And you've forgotten that some people have inheritances passed down to them. But you are striving. You are coming up. You are supporting several other people. And you want to live like that young man who has inheritance passed down to him. You're not going to have the same result, at least for the first few years when you're getting started. So you need to be more careful, more deliberate about your decision making. Don't just do it because someone else is doing it. Don't do it. In fact, if someone is doing something...
a lot of people say, when it comes to mentorship, having somebody, looking at somebody who has succeeded in that particular area which you are, and most of the time they tell you that when you follow through what they do, you get what they do.
Okay, so mentoring, you need to go beyond mentoring and go to coaching. And there's a difference. Take, for example, you can be my mentor from a distance. I can read your books, I can hear what you say, I can listen to everything that you're saying, and I will learn from it. But I will get to some point. The things that you said to me at a distance will not solve some problems in my life. I need someone to hold my hand and walk me through that situation. That's why footballers don't have mentors, they have coaches. Because they will not perform, they will not deliver any results by mentoring. You need someone to be with you and tell you, okay, in this situation, this was what worked for me, but it's not going to work for you exactly that way. It's the principle that you need to take, not copying exactly what I'm doing. So if you think that you're going to copy what someone else did and get the result, you get into trouble. What you need to find in that situation is the principle, not exactly what they did.
Thank you so much for that, Daniel. This one has finally clarified you are not an audio motivational. You are not aspire to perspire. You know what you're saying. Thank you so much. It was great talking to you this morning. All right.